Hi, hello, and welcome or welcome back, I suppose. Now, if you've been on my channel for any length of time, you will know that I am an unapologetic lover of Lucy Diamond's books. I find them incredibly comforting, even when she's dealing with more difficult topics and when she's making me cry my little heart out. And while I have never been particularly picky about when a book's release has been in terms of reviewing it for a channel, the age of a book tends not to matter. I'll review stuff that came out yesterday, and I will review stuff that came out yesteryear. I think that's fun. Anyway, this is actually a republication of the version of the book that I had. It's a republication of a book that came out, I believe, in 2014, 14 or 15, and it got republished last year. And rest assured, I will 100% be getting my hands on her latest book as soon as I can. I believe it came out last week in paperback, and I believe it's in hardback, and I believe it's June or July for the paperback edition. I hope you can't hear my laptop. I have it opened for a video that I'm filming right after this, and it's decided to be loud, so I hope that doesn't pick up because I don't know how to edit sounds out. Speaking of the video that I'm filming after this, yes, I am aware. Browlers. They didn't just fall off in the night, and I'm still looking for them. I did intentionally remove them because after putting the slits in, they weren't quite growing back how I'd like them to have done. So I just decided, basically in the same way that I did with my hair, that I'll just go, fuck it, fresh slate, start again, let's see how they grow in. Why not, man? But back to the reason why we are here today. We are looking at Lucy Diamond's One Night in Italy. In just a moment, I will be talking about the three main characters more separately, but at first I want to just appreciate the fact that, also, if you can hear jingling, Lily's in here and she's having a little itch. Do you mind? Oh, hello. Are you coming on? Hi. You possibly won't be able to see her, but she is currently now purring quite loudly on my lap. You want to say hello to everybody? That's nice. I hope you could hear her purring there. Hello. Are we comfy now? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to say that I start off by saying that I appreciate how long Lucy Diamond took with each of the... No, you can't go up there. How long she took with each of the three characters on their own before finally bringing them together. I think when you have a sort of ensemble rather than one singular protagonist, it's quite easy to want to bring them together quite quickly, but it's not really until we're past the halfway mark until the three of them finally come together. I thought that wiggling your little ears on my elbow, I thought that the Italian classes would start much sooner than they do in the novel, and I really like that they don't. We basically get just their stories, like, until they all do come together. These could be three separate Lucy Diamond books. Like, she's done quick reads, she's done short fiction before. The first book that I read of hers was actually one of her quick reads, one of her pieces of short fiction, and each of those stories could easily have been that. What is on my arm? Lily hair. It's lily hair because of course it is. You don't molt that much though. Some more purring from Miss Lily because it's nice. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so like they each, until they do come together, they each could have just been short stories in their own right. In fact, the first chapters for each of these women could just be short stories, perhaps with that feeling of wanting a little more, but if that was featured in a sort of large anthology where maybe you would come back to those characters later on, I could see those first chapters serving as short stories, because there are some short story anthologies that work like that, with collections of short stories where sometimes characters do re-emerge later on. There was one that I read, is it Our People, I want to say? It's an older Welsh book, a collection of short stories that I read for university, and I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I swear it's called Our People, but that's got the same sort of thing where you have reoccurring characters throughout, but it is a collection of separate short stories, and this could have worked like that. But I just think there's something in the patience of really delve into these characters first as individual beings before they become part of this friendship group. And I think that's something to bear in mind in general, not just with, in this case, they become a friendship group, but it's something to really bear in mind if you're somebody who writes any kind of ensemble cast, if you're somebody who wants to write romance. Maybe wait out a bit and establish your characters as separate beings before bringing them together. If you are going to write, like, because a lot of romance books do these days, they do POV type stuff, even if it's third person with a focus, or if it's first person POV. I think it's a really good idea to really establish your characters before bringing them together, and I think Lucy Diamond does a really good job with that. Are you comfy? Yeah. Part 1. Sophie. Now, I will be completely honest, of the 3 characters, I did find Sophie's story the one that I was generally least invested in. Now, that's not to say that I wasn't invested, that's not to say that I didn't find her story really interesting. It's just a case of there are 3 whole stories happening within this novel. One of them, for a reader, is going to be the one they prefer least. For me, that was Sophie. For you, that could be one of the others. Like, that's just gonna be how it happens, unless you have that, like, nice... For me, they're all on an even playing field, but for the most part, I think we're going to attach more to some than others. You know, I was still attached to her. I was still definitely invested in her story. Just like I say, perhaps not as much as the others. Like, the Christmas Day incident was... I was going to say heartbreaking, that feels a bit tasteless, but it was a hard read, and you know, you can't help but feel for everybody involved, because the thing about Diamond's writing is that no matter where they sit, like, if you have, because she does often do multi-character casts like this. I mean, I don't just mean the fact that there's more than one person in the cast. I mean, like this, when I did The Year of Taking Chances, that's a similar vibe where you have 3 stories all mixing here. You know, no matter where these characters sit on your fave scale type deal, you are going to be catapulted in to these people's lives in a way that you sort of can't help it. You're going to become invested. I mean, it's not like you're given everything right away. You're not given an autobiography, but basically, it's like when you're at university or something similar, where you meet somebody for the first time and it feels like you've known them forever. And I know that sounds a bit like a sort of romantic cliche, but I mean that in terms of friendships as well. On my first day at university, when I moved into halls, I went into my room, I packed my stuff, and then I think I was making my tea, and I met one of my other flatmates. And me and her sat and talked 4 hours until like 3 a.m. And I think that ended up happening for a few nights in a row for that first week. But it effectively became a case of, I feel like you've been in my life forever, and now that my life is this way, I wouldn't have it any other way, kind of thing, right? That's how Lucy Diamond writes characters. She catapults them into your life, and you feel like they've been there forever, and that you never want them to leave it. Part 2. Catherine. Now, Catherine's story, on the other hand, definitely my favourite. Her first chapter ends on this huge bombshell, and then you just get to watch this beautiful story of growth as she really finds herself, and she just becomes, well, herself, as she just moves away from this horrendous relationship, and she's found herself without her kids. Now they're at university, she is her own woman now, and she's got to really find herself, especially given that her husband was kind of a piece of shit. We'll get onto that. Not even just kind of, a total one. And, you know, her kids are no longer there, and she has this feeling that they never really appreciated her, and it becomes a story of her finding herself beyond being a wife and a mother, and I think it's so beautiful. Now, we're gonna get on to Mike. Mike is Catherine's husband, or very quickly becomes basically her ex-husband, because every time I saw him after the end of the first chapter, it was a repeat in my mind of two things. One, me going, me versus Mike when, and two, that one scene from What We Do in the Shadows. I haven't even watched What We Do in the Shadows yet. I will get onto it eventually, but I haven't even watched it. But if I can be bothered in editing, I will put it in here.
I cannot even speak the name of the vampire that organized that monstrosity.
I don't give a fuck. His name was Mike.
Fucking Mike.
Mike is such a pathetic little man who just refuses to take any responsibility for any single one of his actions. He's like, you trapped me by getting pregnant. Who got her pregnant? Who did that, Mike? Was it you, Mike, who got her pregnant? Who was like, there were two people in that act. You are one of them. She didn't magic up the fucking baby like she's the Virgin Mary. No, Mike, you did that. You put that there. Noggin. Try and use your noggin, Michael. Like, just God. Lucy Diamond knows exactly how to write a bastard. Like, when I do Bad Rep Book Club reviews and I talk about bad characters, so I've written about Hardin Scott in After, you know, most of the people in the Twilight universe. We've got Christian Grey in 50 Shades. When I talk about them being bad characters, I do not talk about them in the way that I talk about Lucy Diamond writing bad characters, because I often talk about the lack of self-awareness. You're supposed to like Christian Grey. You're supposed to want Christian Grey. Or I suppose there probably are some readers out there who want to be Christian Grey. Either way, he's part of a fantasy. The issue is, he's a toxic piece of shit who uses BDSM as an excuse to abuse people. Mike is a piece of shit because Lucy Diamond decided to write a piece of shit. Do you reckon Colleen Hoover has a P.O. box? I'm just thinking, because I could send her this and go, this is actually how you write bad characters. rather than what you've given us. Don't worry, I'd send it to Mayor as well, and James, and whoever else fucking needs it. I need to find some people with P.O. boxes to just go, this is how you write a bad character. Because that's done on purpose. And also, you will find some good characters in this that people will like and are supposed to. Self-awareness. It's all about self-awareness, and Lucy Diamond is nothing if not self-aware. And the thing is, I was saying earlier that chapter 1 ends on a bombshell. That bombshell is that basically Catherine has taken the kids, who are now, they're twins, they're both 18 and they're being dropped off to go to university. One's going to Liverpool, one's going to Manchester. And it all goes a bit quicker than she's expecting. There's not a lot of, she doesn't help them unpack because they don't really want it. There's a bit of that like uncool mum kind of thing going on, and she basically just gets like, no, you can leave now, bye. So she basically just finds herself being home early. And also, if I remember rightly, there's just no traffic on the motorway kind of thing. It's lots of little things that mean she's home way earlier than she thought, and that Mike thought. And she walks in, she makes herself heard, but then she gets upstairs and is like, oh, there's some music playing in the bedroom. Opens it up, Mike's there with somebody else. Because Mike is a ball bag and he's a piece of shit. We don't like Mike. And when we see them again, he's like, well, actually, I don't love you. I haven't loved you for a very long time. And I only stayed with you for the kids. Did you? Did you, Mike? Because if it was about the kids, why weren't you with them when they were going off to university? Because that's a big part of their lives. That's a big sort of moment in their life where they go from living at home, and for the first time, they're living separately from you without your direct help. They can call you and ask for help and all that sort of thing, but they're basically on their own at this point. They're living away for the first time. Do you not think that's a big thing to go and see them off? No, you're more interested in going to shag some woman. Yeah, you're doing it for the kids. You were staying for the kids and now they've left. You can leave too. You could have left years ago, Mike, and the kids probably would have been happier because they would have had happy people raising them separately. And they would have had 2 Christmases. I bet it would have made their lives much fucking easier, because now they have to learn as adults that it turns out you're a piece of shit, Mike. I hope that simply my passion in this case is enough for a review, because I know I'm just talking about these characters for the most part. I'm just basically saying what they're doing and calling Mike a piece of shit, because he is. But consider that it goes one of 2 ways when I get passionate. It is a case of love or hate, and it is very clear in this case that I love the way that Lucy Diamond has written these characters, because she just writes awful people so well. I don't think I've seen her writing a bastard like this. Like, I often praise her on her well-rounded characters, on the fact that, you know, with Sophie, she's not a great person all round. We just love her forever. Like, she's been kind of rude. And yeah, her parents were kind of shitty for the thing they did with the drama school. But her then writing a public blog where she kind of bitches about them and doesn't expect that will ever get back to them despite the fact it is public, that's kind of a shitty thing to do, and Lucy Diamond does that really well. She gives us well-rounded people who aren't just the best and we love them and they're perfect, woohoo. Sometimes they're kind of shitty, but you know, they learn, they grow, they become better people kind of thing, right? There's stuff you expect from and hope for with slice of life type stuff. I don't think I've ever seen her write real arseholes like this for a while. I mean, I think a lot of it is, you know, you see her writing people who yeah, they've objectively done some pretty shitty things and there's some growth that comes from that. But with someone like Mike, you sort of go, there's no growing from the kind of person you are. If you can't do any growth in 19 years, what growth are you gonna do, my guy? So, back to Mike. I was, well, not really back to Mike, back to Catherine, but back to Mike being shitty. I was just waiting for this moment, especially when we got to Christmas Day, because he's shitty. The kids are kind of just like, well, it's just Mum, she does stuff around the house, because, like, Catherine basically she was right near the end of her degree, but she had to give it up because she was pregnant, and she's basically just been mum and housewife for, well, 18 years, plus pregnancy or whatever, but it's basically a case of all of them are just like, yep, that's mum, and she does all the cleaning, she does all this and that, and Mike's Mike, and his mum is a bit shitty as well. Like, she's actually the reason that they ended up getting married. So, yes, part of the reason that Mike is like, you trapped me by getting pregnant, even though he was the one that got her fucking pregnant, is because his mum is like a Christian who was like, you knocked her up, you have to get married because that's going to reflect really badly, so naughty naughty, get fucking married. So yeah, I understand that that's not ideal, but like, eventually you are grown up enough to understand, like, eventually you have to grow up enough to just get a fucking divorce. You're not staying together for the kids, clearly, because you didn't see them off to university, a huge fucking milestone in their life. Why not just get divorced earlier? Maybe not when they're really young, because it's good to have that, like, you know, if things seem alright at first. But once they're a bit older, fuck off and leave if you want to fuck off and leave. What's keeping you? Don't say the kids. You're a lying little shit. Anyway, his mum is also she's just snarky about everything. Like, nothing about Catherine is perfect in Mike's mum's eyes. Shirley, I think she's called. Mike's mum. The place from which he spawned, because I feel like that's the right word for them. Anyway. So, the kids are kind of just not helping out. Mike's certainly not helping out. And, like, I kind of understand the kids not helping. Like, if you've always been the kind of mum who's hyper attentive to everything, like, you don't ask for help with anything, the kids aren't likely to then offer it at certain points. And also, Mike is their dad, so, like, why would they? But, like, Mike's offering zero fucking help. Like, the wife, like, you've got your wife making an entire fucking huge Christmas dinner, and you what? Do fuck all and sit on the sofa, remote in hand? Absolutely fucking not. Like, there is a reason that a lot of Christmas days you have multiple people in that fucking kitchen, you know? Because sometimes it is just a few people in there, but there's usually more than one person helping out, because a huge roast dinner, like a Christmas dinner roast dinner, is not a one-man job. But you wouldn't know that because you don't pay attention to your wife, Mike. And you're watching this Christmas Day. You've got the mum slash mother-in-law being snarky as hell. Mike's doing fuck all. The kids are doing fuck all. Nobody really got her anything for Christmas, and it's just a case of she's this close. And by this point, Mike and Catherine are only in that same house together for Christmas Day. They're doing that for the kids. They want the kids to think that things are normal for a little bit until they can figure out fully what's going on. And she just fucking snaps. And it is so satisfying because you're waiting for it. You're like, these gears are turning. You can feel that. You can feel that she's just getting tenser and tenser and tenser until that happens. And she fucking throws the turkey at the wall. I thought that was stunning. She throws the whole fucking bird at the wall. You get the descriptions of the grease stains on the wallpaper. I think it's phenomenal. I love her. Queen. And just her growth from that moment is so incredible. Just watching her find herself beyond mother, beyond wife, becoming a whole human being outside of other people. I think it's really beautiful to see. And I think even without being in a terrible relationship, a lot of women do find that, you know, when their kids leave, be it for university or they just move out, a lot of women do struggle to find themselves, or just when their kids get older, even if they're the sort of people that are going to remain in the home for whatever reason, be that it's just a financial thing, or some people do just live sort of generation, like with multiple generations in the home. And like, a lot of women do struggle becoming anything but mother, and they don't know, especially if they're young as well, that's what they are. They have to then find themselves outside of that once they get older, and seeing that here, seeing the depiction of it, I think it's absolutely just beautiful. Part 3, Anna. Now, Anna's story kind of fits into 2 parts. There's everything about her dad and the stuff about her relationship, about her love life in general. I mean, yes, her work is also there, but her work is kind of just stuff that intermingles through everything else, especially the relationship aspect, to be fair. And I'm going to be more focusing on the relationship side of it. Yes, the side with her dad is certainly interesting. I was certainly deeply invested seeing how that went, and I thought there was some brilliantly funny moments, especially later on. But I'm going to be focusing on the relationship aspect, mostly because I want to continue talking about the fact that I love the way Lucy Diamond writes horrible people. I think it's brilliant. I've not seen her do this before. I've seen her write some, like, morally questionable people before. I've seen her write people who, that kind of, you know, the old, like, hurt people type bad people, where, and you see the reasons behind it and you do understand it. But here, she's just written some bastards. Like, let's start with Marla at her work. Awful. She's an awful human being. Like, the idea of working with her is a hellscape. That woman can get in the bin. Like, she's constantly making these snide little comments like, oh, I can't eat that because I'm slim, but it's okay for you, Anna, because you have curves. Constant digs, especially about Anna and about her weight, and it's like, okay, first of all, where is this audacity being stored? Disgusting. I hate her so much. Like, if I had to be, like I said, the idea of working with her, hellscape. I would not be able to hold myself back from throwing things at her, either verbally or physically, because this woman, I cannot stand people like this. Simply. And a lot of it is like and later on, rather, it becomes a bit of a jealousy thing. But earlier on, it's bloody not. It's just her being a cow for the sake of being a cow. Cannot stand her. And I have met people who are vindictive in this particular kind of way. Oh, foul creature. Now let's get on to the real star of the bastard show within Anna's story, Pete. Now, Pete is Anna's boyfriend. She seems happy, but she's aware that maybe she's settled a little bit. Like, I believe she actually uses the words, he was a bit of a it'll do, but I'm happy kind of thing. And the thing is, she says she's happy, but I don't understand it. Explain it to me, Anna. Explain to me how you remained with this man for so long. Like, when they've had sex, he scores it out of 10. And not only is this something that he does in his head and she's found out about this, no, he does it out loud. Then, because it gets worse, because he's a right little pervert, he puts it in a fucking spreadsheet. Now, I know people who love spreadsheets, and unfortunately, one of them was the first person that came into my head when I read that, and I feel bad for her, because I know she wouldn't do something like this. However, first person that came into my head, so I'm very sorry about that, but, he puts it in a fucking spreadsheet. He puts, like, date, what they did, like, you know, positions or whatever, and then he rates it and then adds comments. I'm out there faster than Usain Bolt. I'm looking like Nikki Cross in the Rumble. Fuck off. Get out. Absolutely not. That is... Oh my god. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to stay with somebody who rated it out of 10, like, out loud after a session. I'm already thinking I need to leave. But then if I find the spreadsheet... Absolutely not. And then, this is a mild spoiler, but it turns out that he is also a fucking cheater. And... I was like, please. No. Please say that there's another fucking spreadsheet. Another spreadsheet for the woman. He's got an affair spreadsheet. Again, with ratings and comments. And it's filth. And it's... Oh, he's such a dirty bastard. For shame. For shame. It is filth. Filthy. Shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself, Peter. Disgusting. I was just... Oh, the idea of somebody making a spreadsheet. And I know some people... But these are usually, like, promiscuous type people who, like, you know, they sleep with multiple people. I know some people do keep a track of that, and they'll, like, put little, like, I don't know, they'll have it on their phone or something, and they'll write stuff down. And I'm like, I think that's weird. But somehow it's weirder when it's, like, the same person over and over again. I'm like, who's that for? I say this as somebody with a piss poor memory myself, right? But is that for you? Like, in case you forgot? Like, just have sex again. And, like, make it good. And also, again, cheating. Why? Like, if you're dissatisfied within your relationship, talk to them about it. And if it's not fixable, leave. Gentlemen, have we considered a little bit of communication? And yes, Anna does need to do some communication as well. She has said that there was getting to a point where she's going, I don't know that I want to be with this man anymore. But she was getting to the point where she wanted to tell him that. And then he just kept blocking it. I think he could tell. And I think he was basically just going, but she is easy to have around because I can use her for stuff. Like sex. Like I can store my shit in her fucking house. Ball bag. Awful. Leave. Cease. Get in the bin. Oh. Fucking spreadsheets, man. That's gonna live with me in here. This man made he made 2 spreadsheets. And how many more has he got? Sitting in there from relationships gone by. Dirty boy. Filthy, dirty boy. I think one of the things about Anna, to move on from that, I think one of the interesting things about the sort of dynamic of Anna's story is, like I was saying at the beginning, there's multiple parts to it. The 2 main parts, obviously the way it interweaves with everybody else's as well, but the 2 main parts of her as an individual are the stuff about her dad and the way that her romance goes, because there is a romance found after Pete kind of thing. Well, she's sort of going, oh, I think I have feelings outside of this, and I don't like that. I found that I'm with this guy, I can ignore it, break up, moving on kind of thing, right? Pretty relatively, you know, this is a slice of life with some romance in it. That's kind of a pretty common way of things of going. But you know what she didn't do, Pete? She didn't fucking go out there and shag him, because she's not a fucking cheater. She had thought and went, no, I'm in a relationship. And then she only moved on when she wasn't in one anymore. Fucking weird how that works, isn't it, Peter? Anyway, like I was saying, the interesting thing about the way her story works is the way it all interweaves. So it's not just like dad stuff, relationship stuff, dad stuff, a little bit of work stuff. It's not just like it's all her. It's all Anna's story, and I really like that. I think it just works beautifully. But what do we expect? This is, after all, a Lucy Diamond story, and again, what do we expect? I bloody loved it, because what else would happen? This is a Lucy Diamond book, therefore I will love it. I'm always looking for more of her stuff, and I will certainly be on the lookout for her new book. I have also had Amazon being like, here, have some of her other stuff. It's available on Kindle for a reasonable price. And I have been thinking of getting... Well, I have a Kindle, but every Kindle itself, like an actual Kindle product that I've bought, just has the worst battery life I've ever fucking seen. But I have been thinking of getting myself a regular tablet. Or I also do have Kindle on my laptop, so I have been thinking of getting some stuff through there. But if any of you, I'd have BorrowBox as well, but I don't know if I can get that on my computer. I think that's just an app on my phone, and I don't really like reading from my phone. I don't mind a tablet because it's a bit bigger. But if any of you have good ebook platforms that aren't Amazon, because on the whole, I do try to not go there, apart from if I need something quickly. Like we had to get child locks lately because little Miss Lilith kept going in the bin. We have a little countertop bin. I mentioned this in the last video on Tuesday, actually. We have a little countertop bin, and because the food packets are in there, like from the pouches of their food, she keeps wanting to go in and get it, and she's a little bastard. So we have child locks arriving today, so we can shut the bin, so this little bastard can't get inside. Because I have it there, because my brain does not go, so, you know, if it was, because we have our regular bin tucked under the stairs from when we had a dog who was a Labrador, so if he could smell food somewhere, he was like, I'm fucking having that. And I think there's Labrador in her. Does it make sense? No, but I think there's Spirit of Labrador. Oh my god, it's Spirit of Herbie. Is he haunting you? Is this what's going on? Is he still in this house and he's making you eat things? Is that what's going on, babe? You're fast asleep. You're not fucking listening to a word I'm saying. Anyway. Moving on from pet talk and the fact that you're haunted by a Labrador. But yeah, so that's what I was saying. So that's why I was like moving on, because I couldn't remember, but I've remembered now. So yeah, we have a little countertop bin, because once I've emptied their packets, the sensible thing would be to do is to put them on the side, take their bowls into the front room, put them down to feed them, go back into the kitchen, and then put their packets in the understairs bin. But I, also like a Labrador, don't have object permanence. Once I have left that kitchen, those packets are free from my mind. And then you know who gets them? You. Little Lily. Purring very loudly as I rub her. Oh, little squeechies. So because we have Labrador cat down here, we had to get child locks for the little bin. Love that for us. But anyway, let's wrap things up, shall we? On Saturday, we have a surprise video. So, like I said, I have taken my eyebrows off because I need to grow them back properly. So, I'm about to film it. Basically, I got a few of my friends to send me some pictures. I gave them a blank slate, though one of them was just when I sent a picture, and I'll explain it in that video, it doesn't matter. But basically, gave my friends a blank slate of my face and said, hey, draw me some eyebrows. It doesn't have to be good, it can be silly, or it can be intricate, anything you like. I'll do my best to interpret something or try and directly copy it. And I say interpret some things because some of them are like I mean, many of them are just done on Messenger, and some of them I will straight up copy because they're simple one-line things and I think it's interesting, and some I thought, oh, I could make like an actual design out of that sort of thing. You may have seen this sort of thing on TikTok. I'm just doing it in one long-form video because I can't be asked editing something choppy and short. We all know that's not working for this. So we're doing a long-form video of it on YouTube, and that's going to be fun. That's coming to you on Saturday. Then, next week, it is a week-long special of Bad Rep Book Club, at least when it comes to reviews. Tuesday, we have the Twilight Rundown. I've already reviewed Twilight before. I'm not doing it again. So, it's just a quick rundown of the plot. Then, on Thursday, we have the Bad Rep Book Club review itself of New Moon. Obviously, all of that by Stephanie Meyer. If any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn the notifications on so then you know when they're coming. All my videos come out at 3 PM no matter what time, no matter what day I'm uploading them. Videos every Thursday, videos pretty much every Tuesday, and honestly I think it will be every Tuesday for a while now. And sometimes you get extra little videos peppered in throughout the rest of the week. You will be getting that Saturday, and in a few weeks you'll be getting that again, possibly with some extra little reviews peppered in throughout the rest of the week, because I think that's fun. Also, it means I can get my reading goals up there for getting through this shelf. So, like I said, if anything seems interesting to you that I have just spoken about, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to put the notification bell on so you know when things are coming out. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. And why don't you comment down below? Let me know if there are any Lucy Diamond books that you have read that make you go, yes, Autumn will like this, even though we all know I like it, it's a Lucy Diamond book. Let me know if there are any slice of life type books that you've read that this has made you go, ooh, thought of that. Why don't you give this one a go? Tell me which author you've read that just, they know how to write a bastard. And I don't mean in a kind of Bret Easton Ellis writing American Psycho. It's like, ooh, he's a bastard, but he's interesting. No, I mean, you read it and you go, I hate this man. I hate this man. It's always men. Let's be real. And I don't mean in a, men bad. Not all men type shit. I mean, like, you read this and you're like, get his ass. And there's some kind of vindication and it's so good. Let me know what books or what authors, because some authors are just so good at writing that shit. Let me know down below. I will see you all in just a couple of days, but for today, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take good care of yourselves. Right.